Welcome to a presentation where I'm going to be talking through the 5 most expensive British sovereigns that have been sold to date. The video is being recorded in 2022, so at the point of recording, these are the 5 most expensive coins, British sovereigns in history. Now, the thing to point out straight away is that all of them are 5 sovereigns, which is a coin that is a sovereign. It looks the same design as a standard full sovereign, but it has the weight of 5 sovereigns. And the sponsor of this video is Orunum. Orunum are a supplier of sovereigns and all other sorts of gold. But the reason why I like Orunum so much is because of the free resources that they have on their website. Each week they upload a precious metal market report, which is free to download. It's 3 pages of what's happened that week in the gold and silver markets with charts comparing gold to oil to the FTSE. There's lots of information on there. Highly recommend checking out their website and downloading some of these reports. The first coin is number 5, and this one was sold in March 2021. It went for 660,000 US dollars, and it was a proof coin and obviously a 5 sovereign. And this was actually part of the John J. Pittman collection of world gold coins sold in August 1999. And this gentleman was a very shrewd coin collector. He was known to buy coins that were relatively rare and make a significant amount of money on them. And this was one of his coins that actually came as an auction in the US in 2021. And this is one of only 2 that is held in private hands, so far as we know. And the reason why this one is so rare is because obviously the condition, it's a PF64, but also it's from the Sydney Mint. And if you look above the 1887, there's a small S which indicates that it was produced in the Sydney Mint, and that makes this coin very rare, which was a big part of the price tag. So when we look at number 4, this went for 690,000 US dollars, and this was actually sold in January 2020. This is again the same Queen Victoria, but this is one of the first effigies. So this is what's known as the young head design. But what's different about this sovereign is the design on the opposite side to the portrait, and that is the Una and the Lion. And this actually comes from a poem, and it was a poem based on Queen Elizabeth I, so not the recent Queen Elizabeth II that passed away in 2022, Queen Elizabeth I. And in this poem, it relates to, it basically says that Queen Elizabeth I tamed a lion so much that it didn't attack a lamb. And the lion signifies her status and elegance and her power, which is a really interesting story. But these are quite rare. You don't often see these designs on sovereigns. But what's interesting about this is that there was only 400 of these actually produced, these Una and the Lion designs. And there's about 9 varieties apparently, but they are so rare that the varieties I don't think actually have much of a disparity between them. It's just such a rare coin, it goes for a high premium. And only 2 examples have ever been graded of this coin higher than the grade of this coin, which is PR64. And one of the 2 examples, in November 2019, an auction saw a cleaned AU version. So the grade just said cleaned AU. And that went in Japan for 10 million Japanese yen, which at the time was equivalent to about 92,000 US dollars. But obviously that was in 2019, and that was a cleaned coin. Normally coins significantly devalue when they've become cleaned. The 3rd most expensive coin or British sovereign is a coin featuring William IV. This coin again is a proof coin, and the grade was PR66, and this coin was sold in an auction in Morocco, which is quite unusual because normally we see these sorts of high caliber coins coming out of the US. But this one went in Morocco and it went for 820,000 euros. And this is actually a very rare coin in as again a five sovereign proof, and it's believed that only 6 to 10 of these actually exist. So a very rare coin. I'm not actually sure if those other standards are actually higher or lower, but there's only 6 to 10 of these. So you know, as soon as one of these comes up in a good grade, it's going for big money. So the next one, number two, we are looking at another. So we've already seen one of these already, but this is a higher grade. This is PR66, whereas the other one that we saw previously that went for less money was a PR64. This went in August 2021, and obviously this I believe went for a higher amount because of the better grade, but also because the previous coin sold in January, so about 7 months previously, which set a precedence. Everyone knew what that lower grade went for, so it managed expectations on the value of this coin. And this went for 1.44 million US dollars. Again, this is a five sovereign proof for nearly 1.5 million US, which is an incredible amount. And obviously there was only 400 of these minted, and we know for a fact that demand far exceeds supply. Sometimes when coins like this come up, it is literally a once in a lifetime opportunity to purchase, and that's why they go for big bucks like this. Number one is a very controversial coin, a very rare coin. Coins with this king, even the standard full sovereigns, go for a lot of money. And this is a very controversial coin. Again, this was a proof, a high grade proof, PR67, and this sold in March 2021. And obviously 2021 was a very key year for British sovereigns because 3 of the 5 coins featured in this presentation were sold in that year. This went for 2.28 million US dollars, which is just unbelievable when you think that this is a coin that has about 40 or just under 40 grams of gold to it, and it went for 2.28 million. If you imagine what sort of house you could buy with 2.28 million US dollars, will someone spend that on one coin? So there's going to be a good reason why they spent that on one coin. And there was quite a lot of controversy actually in this coin, and it's more to do with the history, obviously, than what the coin actually looks like in hand. And the first thing to say is that this king was not on the throne for long. He wanted to marry a commoner called Mary Wallace Simpson, so he actually stepped down from the throne. And while he was actually on the throne, the Royal Mint was in the process of making sovereigns in his name. They had the dies ready. They had about 200 dies for the coins. There's going to be sets produced, but all that was produced was these pattern coins, and this is exactly what this is. And a pattern coin is a sort of like a proof of concept. They make the coin and they make sure that it meets expectations. It's exactly what is meant to be produced, and then they will mass produce. So they had everything ready to mass produce the coins, and then the king gave way to the throne. He stepped down and the coins was never produced, which means that these are available in very, very small numbers. It's customary in the UK for when a king or queen inherits the throne and then they become the face of the British sovereign, it's customary for them to turn the other way than their predecessor. And the first controversy with this king was that he faced the same way as his father. And the reason for that, we believe, is that he liked to have his side parting in the effigy. So that's the controversy straight away. He was only on the throne for 10.5 months as well. So any coin with this king on it, like I said, is very rare, and they go for big money. They are very well sought after because a decent sovereign collector will want one of every design. And obviously everyone wants one of every design, which includes him. And a lot of people that collect sovereigns might not even know that this is available because it's such a small mintage compared to the other effigies and designs that you see. In 2009, someone actually set out to see how many of these coins were in existence. And Joseph Giordano, in his Portraits of a Prince, recorded approximately 6 sets of these pattern coins. But most of those sets were actually broken down because sometimes people buy sets and it's easier to sell off the coins individually rather than try and find a buyer for the whole set. And obviously a set of this caliber would be big bucks. So a lot of these sets have been broken down, which is where one of the coin that went in this auction would have come from a set. And this coin was actually the first one of this type to surface for sale in over 20 years at the time of sale. So in March 2021, this coin hadn't been seen on the market for over 20 years. And it just shows how rare this is. And in September 1950, the Royal Mint actually done not a stock check, but it done its own research onto how many of these were still circulating or available publicly. And it reported that only 3 complete sets were in existence. So 3 wasn't broken down. 3 sets still existed intact. And all evidence to this day indicates that one of those sets are still with the Royal Mint and one of them is in private hands, which means that whenever this comes up for sale, you know that it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity, hence why this went for such big money. And please do check out my other videos. I've done many videos about very expensive coins and very rare coins, especially from Central Latin America. So I think that you'll enjoy those if you enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for tuning in.